Give a brief summary of tonight's agenda, just for the benefit of those who may be watching at home. So under new business, the board will hear a presentation and take action on awarding the Lower Paxson Township and Authority property and casualty insurance coverages. Next, under old business, the board will take action on application for payment number 3, which is regarding the 2021 Township Street Paving project. Next, the board will consider taking action on the adoption of Resolution 21-25, which accepts the minimum municipal obligation regarding pensions for the non-uniformed employees and also the police employees' pension funds. After this, the board will take action on Resolution 21-28, which is regarding the adoption of the 2021 Dauphin County Hazard Mitigation Plan, after which the board will take action on a number of improvement guarantees before hearing announcements and then seeking to adjourn. With all that said, members of the board are seated and prepared to conduct business. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Gottschall. We'll call this meeting of the Lower Paxton Township Board of Supervisors to order. We'd like to ask everyone to please stand, and Supervisor Navarro will lead us in the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We now will move to approval of minutes. This from the meeting of July 6th, 2021. Is there a motion to approve the minutes?
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion we approve the minutes from July 6, 2021.
So moved. Is there a second? Second. Moved and seconded. All in favor, aye? Aye. This is the time set aside for public comment. Public comment is for items not on the agenda this evening. If you are here to speak about an agenda item, there will be public comment for that item at that time. Would anybody like to address the board on an item not on the agenda? Okay, please come to the podium and give us your name and address.
Good evening. My name's Chris DeSanto with Triple Crown Corporation. We're located at 5351 JC Avenue, Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Not sure, maybe Brad can clear this up. We thought we were on the agenda tonight. We were told yesterday that we weren't, even though we discussed that last week. So just wanted to come, though, before the board and give you a little comment on Wind Chase 3, which we talked about at the last meeting. And, you know, we've had that meeting. We heard the comment. We heard the comments of the board, the comments of the public, and just want to give you a little bit of an update that we've gone back and, you know, we are, again, going to be looking at everything. We've reached out to McNaughton to talk about their access point. We went back through our old files. We did talk to them during the Wind Chase 2 development, and they were not interested in selling at that time. So, you know, we're not optimistic about it, but we have reached out to discuss that. We've re-engaged our traffic engineer to look at some additional traffic information in that Colorado, Indiana, Utah corridor. And we've also preliminarily reached out to DEP to see if they will even preliminarily look at a plan and see if they would kind of comment on that or not. Not sure where that's going to go. Haven't heard back yet, but just wanted to, you know, out of respect for this board and the residents of this township and a continuing effort to be a good member of the community here, we just wanted to come and say that, you know, this was going to be our point anyways, but we are continuing to look at this. We've heard everything that this board has requested. We've heard the residents, and, you know, as we are doing everything that we can to be the best neighbor in the community that we can. So just wanted to bring that up. If anyone has any questions or comments at this point.
Chris, would McNaughton have to sell it to you, or could there be some kind of a co-agreement of sort? I don't, from a legal standpoint, I'm not sure.
I mean,
how
there
that
could
would
be
work.
an easement, but if they do have a plan of some sort there and we come in and try and it could throw a huge wrench in their plan. So, you know, we've reached out. We're looking to see what options there are there. I don't know if it's sale, easement, something like that. But from our conversations at Wind Chase 2, I don't think we're very optimistic that that's going to happen. We did talk about that. I went back and looked at the files back, I guess that was 3-4 years ago. So But who knows if something's changed, so we're checking that avenue again, just
Thanks.
at a request from the board.
Well, we appreciate your looking into the various potential options that have been suggested. And this was not on the agenda this evening because we know you're looking into that.
Okay.
As well as we're looking into some things, so.
All right. Well, I just wanted to come and give just a brief update as we continue to do our part and let you know that, we aren't just sitting on our hands waiting on time. We are continuing to do, due diligence on our end. So
Good.
thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Sir, you wanted to speak on, please come to the podium, give us your name and address, please.
Yes, hi. My name is Michael Daly, 5893 Choke Place. Some quick comments. Did anybody from Waste Management come today give any updates about the yard waste? I know I've gone back and forth with
Yes.
you on some of the stuff. I didn't see it on the agenda. That's why I thought I'd just come up here to see if anything's going to be.
Yes, we do have a representative from Waste Management here, and we plan to have him come to the podium when we concluded public comment, although you're welcome to ask him questions.
Okay. Thank you.
So, does anybody else wish to make public comment? Okay, Tom, do you want to come to the podium? That's a good segue to have you sort of explain what's been going on. And then if you have any questions,
Yes, good evening. Glad I could be here to address the board and possibly answer some questions. I think, Mr. Daly, you and I had spoken and said that I would be out at this meeting tonight and be free to come out and see me. So we can field questions directly, or if you'd like to chat afterwards, I can do that as well. So part of the issues that Waste Management has been dealing with over these last several months primarily is the collection of the yard waste. We believe we're doing a nice job on collecting the trash as well as the recyclables, but we are falling down with the yard waste collection. We're running into some serious staffing issues for a variety of reasons, the labor force being one of them, results of some COVID-19, and when we have positive tests in quarantine and short-staffed that way. We do occasionally have a problem with the trash or the recycling, but that could be because I have a substitute driver on that particular route. But the biggest problem is the yard waste and being staffed properly for that. We have decided as a company that we want to prioritize what we can with our folks, our teams, to get off the streets, and we do MSW, municipal solid waste first, with the recycling second, and unfortunately yard waste falls into a distant third at time as we're trying to get it collected and off the streets. We have hiring seminars going on constantly at our company, trying to bring people and attract them in. Our corporation has incentives out there for new hire incentives of $7,500 if we can bring on new applicants, referral fees. So our corporation out of Houston, Texas, it's something we're experiencing not just here in central PA, but throughout the country. And it's not just waste management, and it's not just the waste industry, trucking industry, and a lot of other industries are being hit hard with some of the labor-related issues. Our approach is to, as I said, get the trash and recycling collected, but with the yard waste, we have been behind schedule, and we want to, at the end of each day, communicate where we are at the end of the day to the township so that when you get a call from a resident, you can then tell them what our schedule or our route may be looking like. The message I would like for those that are in attendance and maybe listening at home is that if yard waste has not been collected yet, please leave it out there. We recognize that we're behind schedule, and we will get our crews out to get it picked up. I don't want to tell you if you're a Tuesday pickup, it'll be your next pickup day, the next day, or following your normal pickup. But because depending on my crews, I might not be able to have someone to do it that way. So our message clearly at this point in time is that we're working for staffing. Our guys are working that are here are working long hours. They're hearing a lot on the streets, sadly for them, that they're getting some angry residents, and I know you are also getting those angry residents. And I think that'll be a better way to help control some of the calls, is to get the message out and to communicate to you, Brad, and Amanda at the end of each day how we wrapped up, where we are for the next day, and what we can expect. And with that, I'll open it to any questions that someone may have for us.
Yes, sir.
Yes, have you, what about revisiting the one?
At this point in time, so we went, we did have a back-to-back week. You get 21 collection weeks of yard waste and Christmas trees under the contract throughout the course of the year. And so in doing that, for scheduling purposes, I think it was the last week into the first couple days of September, and then the following week was back-to-back weeks that we had on schedule. And we didn't run that last week of August, first couple days of September. We then started running that next, so there was a week that was not completed. You had suggested, Mr. Daly, of possibly adding a week to the end of the contract period for another week of yard waste. That's something we would need to have additional conversation with the board on. It's not out of the realm of being able to do that. We feel that by not picking it up the one week the yard waste was out, we ultimately did get it all the next week because people just added to it for the next week. So we feel that for the most part we collected 2 weeks worth of yard waste, but realistically, I didn't run a fleet of trucks or pay labor guys for that 1 week. So there could be something that we could discuss further about adding it on towards the end of the season. And I can communicate with you as we communicate with the board and come up with a decision as to how we would approach that.
Tom, could you explain about the call center? Because as we talked, people are calling in, they're being promised, it's not being picked up. Can you explain what you feel your call center is doing and should be doing?
Okay, yeah. Our call center, first of all, is in a similar situation as our hauling company and many companies, and that's short staff. So I know I've heard people that have been on hold for up to an hour to be picked up. And a lot of times they'll get the message that the message will be, okay, we didn't pick up your yard waste, we'll pick you up tomorrow. And they make that commitment, and then you don't get picked up the next day. And the way our system is structured is that when a call comes in and we get a complaint, a missed pickup, our call center will generate a ticket that goes to my operations department, right to the hauling company. Our call center is based in Phoenix, Arizona. It is a corporate waste management call center. There are our employees. So when a representative normally would get a call of a missed pickup, they'll generate a missed pickup ticket and it goes in for a recovery for the next day to my operations team. And they'll typically go out and they will recover that. And they're telling customers when they call in, we'll get you tomorrow, because typically we would recover the next day. But at this point in time, we have some routes that just aren't running at all, and I don't even have personnel to run that route the next day. And that's where my call center folks are, instead of saying they'll pick you up if they know it's the yard waste and not the trash or the recycling, that message should be, as I mentioned earlier, leave it at the curb. We will come and get it. We cannot commit to an exact day when we will get it, but we will get to that. So that's some corrective action that needs to be taken with my call center personnel, that they, when routes are not running the very next day, not to be making that commitment. And I think that way also residents won't have to call back in the next day to try and get through, or to call into the township to get an answer, and it will eliminate calls coming in to the administrative office here as well as into our call center. That's a fix that I can work with and can make.
Mr. Stang, over here.
Yeah.
Sorry. I don't know if I missed it. You had said maybe at the end of each day you'll communicate with the township.
Yeah. I would like to do that. I have not been doing that, but as
Right.
I've sat through this and have thought, just, here
Right.
tonight, I think that would be a good practice to be able to call in at the end of the day. Here's about where we are. Today's Tuesday. I didn't get Monday or Tuesday's yard waste. I'm going to be starting on Wednesday to get the Monday routes.
So when you say end of the day, do you mean,
I'll communicate that to you prior to your closing so that when your phones would maybe start to come in the next day, or if there's a message that you could, part of our partnership we talked about, is there any way that some of your social media, if you could put something out as well, that could share some of that information, that might help both of us as well.
and I don't know if I want to commit our staff to putting on Facebook each day when your trash is going to be picked up. But that notion that at least the township would know, because you kind of have an idea at the end of the day what you missed or what's been missed and what needs to be.
Where I'll be tomorrow morning,
Yeah,
yes.
and I think, unless I'm wrong, it sounds like that would be useful information, because like Supervisor Lindsay said, so much of it is communication and people getting bad information. Like, I'm hesitant to make our township staff, the go-to people, because they're fielding calls for township work, and we're, Tops residents, of course, are paying, they're paying you guys for this, and township is doing that as well, and our folks are taking calls on, sewer construction, traffic, and everything else. So, but that's, within there, it sounds like there's something that could be quite useful.
And if I can, just maybe not to update your website every day with it, but maybe if we know, look, we've known the last month or so that yard waste is struggling, right? That's nothing that we're not aware of. That if we could maybe just get that message out there, and it could be a permanent message out there, at least for the time being, just advising people to leave it at their curb, and that Waste Management is behind the schedule, and that they will come and get it. That's certainly your decision to make.
And
I'm just thinking that might
and
be.
we would do that as long as people, because what people are going to say is, well, if I leave it out too long, and then I got to bring it back in, and now I pick up the bag and it collapses. So they would do that with the understanding that most times it's going to be a day or two, and not
a week.
Yeah, well, you understand. So
No,
that
and my message would be not to bring it back in, because by the time they bring it back in, it could very well be the day that I have staff and crew to go down that street, and then they didn't get that pickup. So,
okay. And would it help? What is the total in a given yard waste pickup? What are the total residents that you need to get to, and how many people do you have to do it?
how many do we run on a route?
Because everybody has no perspective as far as.
800. Probably
I don't think they care.
2,500 homes a day for yard waste. So you're roughly, you have 20, maybe 3,000 homes, maybe 3,000 homes a day, because you're about 15,000 homes, just a little shy of 15,000 homes, and we spread that over 5 days, so
Right.
about 3,000 homes a day.
So up to 3, and then how many trucks?
Normally, 2 trucks.
Normally meaning before the shortage?
This time last year, we weren't having these problems like we're having this year, so.
With how many trucks? last-
Two
Okay.
yard waste trucks,
So, and then
picking
when,
up 1,500 homes in a day, so
so for now, when you talk about shortage, you talk about,
some days I don't have a truck, or a man, or a person to put in it, or a helper to put on the back.
1 or 0.
Yeah. I mean, that's why there's been some days that it could go, 3, 4, 5, 6, a week that we hadn't been able to get out there. Yeah, that's what we were talking about, that back-to-back week where we didn't get it the last few days of August and the first couple days of September, and then we started doing it that second week of September to get it.
So if you have 0 on a given day, it's not that you're missing this particular neighborhood, you're not getting anybody
On a day of the week, yeah,
on a
exactly.
particular
Yeah.
day. Okay, that's
We do,
just,
and we are doing calls out. We are doing some calls, like direct calls that will go out when we know we're not going to be running a route. So that message should be getting out to people as well, that they're getting that message from our robocalls, that, or it's a combination of calls, or it could be text messages, another form of communication when we know that we're not going to be there to pick that up.
Thank you.
And we get about, that comes out of our database. We do individually bill, as you know, all your residents. So if we have good information in there, we get about, I think the last I heard was about 78% success ratio with our calls that go out. Might have had a phone number in there that was a landline, that people have done away with landlines now, and they just do mobile phones, and we don't have that information updated in our system.
And they go out only when you know you're not going to get to a house, or not just that you're going to be late or something like that?
When we know we're not going, when we know we're not going to get there. We also do it when there's a holiday, you know, your Monday is being pushed
Yeah.
back. That's pretty standard practice there.
Tom, how can that information be updated?
Is that something you might, I mean, what we do is when a call center representative does get a customer on the phone, they verify if they have the right information in the system. And the customer may give them a new email or another phone number. And then that's really the only way that we've been able to update that information. I don't know if that's something that the township would have better information on yourselves, that we could scrub lists together and try and do that. That can only be more helpful for a message going out.
You have does Waste Management have its own social media
We do.
for Lower Paxton?
Yes.
So,
There's a website out there.
well, yeah,
I'll double check, but I'm pretty sure that there is a
it's
website.
a website or Facebook? Like,
It's not Facebook.
okay.
I think it's a website.
So, I mean, is there a place where people can go to see if,
I would have to check and get back to you on
okay,
that. I don't know.
because
that for
obviously that would be a big,
sure. Another
for
helpful
people
way.
who are particularly having regular problems, instead of playing that waiting game or peeking through the blinds and seeing if it happened, if they would know straight up that it just didn't get enough
Sure.
help today and it's not coming, that would be, and also, like I said, I don't want it to be the burden of the township. We want to help, but like I said, we contract this out so that we can do all the other things. So that would be, in this day and age, that would be really helpful if you had that.
Would it? I think we do have something. It's been a while since I would have looked at it or talked to the team that would have oversaw that, but
Yes, let Brad know.
Would it be,
yeah.
would it be appropriate, Mr. Judd, board members, if we would just like set up like a weekly automatically generated call to go out that says, hey, your yard, as a reminder, if your yard waste isn't picked up, keep it out. That
From
wouldn't
us
take
or
any-
from them?
From us. It wouldn't take any, it would take Leanne one time to make the message, and then it'll automatically go out every week.
You might want to do that for a couple of weeks here until things get caught up. Of course, we only have, about 2 more months in the season. Hopefully by spring, the labor climate will be different. Did you have another comment, sir, or question?
Yeah, had to do with the call center, and I don't know if they handle the emails as well. This was more when I started to contact the town, I was originally sent an email.
Sir, I'll tell you, could you come up to the, where does the microphone on the,
Here.
yeah, why don't you just come here to the table?
Take a
And
seat, push the button.
If you push the button, it should turn green. That way, because folks at home can't hear your question.
Okay. Yeah, I basically started to contact the township. I sent an email to Waste Management one of the times, and I get a message back, did you put it visibly out at the curb? And I was like, well, I guess everybody in the township mustn't have put their yard waste visibly out at the curb. So from that point, it's like, well, if I'm not going to get anywhere with the email center, then I just figured, well, I'll start contacting the township. I don't know about other people. I can't speak for them, but maybe they had the same type of issue. And then just a second point, was mentioned with you on the phone call, the concern if it's standing out there for several days or longer, big storm comes through, topples over cans, spills things all over the street, or the people that have craft bags now, they're essentially ready to dissolve. And then you have a bigger mess to deal with. And it's just not knowing if there's communication, okay, you're running a week behind, I'll put it out a week later, or whatever, you're 3 days behind, or whatever it is. It's not knowing, and like I said, if we have a bigger mess to deal with after the fact.
You indicated that your crews, if a can tips over or a bag dissolves, they will clean it up.
If a can tips over and it's spilled out, not likely. I don't know how, no, but, a bag we would recognize. Same with trash. If we pulled up to pick up trash and the wind had blown it over and the trash was spewed across somebody's front yard, we would not be picking that. We would not be picking that up. And just, it's a difficult thing to say when you're running behind when I will be there, because I might get as I've said, I might get a crew that I can free up and say, can you go knock out 3 hours in Lower Paxson Township and get some of this yard waste picked up? And so when we're running behind like this, the best approach for us to get it is to leave it out and for us to clean it up that way, as opposed to saying, we missed you and we'll be there on Thursday and you can bring it back in on Tuesday and Wednesday and put it back on Thursday. That's just would not be able to work.
I know you say let it out, but it's starting to make the township, as Mr. Navarro said, look junky.
Yes.
The call I got today, you've missed twice now. The stuff has been sitting on Nassau Road for 1 month. And the residents, they're tired of it. And I know you keep saying, I don't have the help, but that's not our fault. That is not our fault. And we're not giving the residents what they're paying for. And they got an increase in the bill in October. I know it wasn't March, but they still got an increase, but they're not getting the service, that was contracted, so.
Well, what I would like to be able to do is come back to next month's meeting. Maybe just jump on at your comment section and be able to get a gauge from you to see how we're doing.
Okay? That's good.
And if you could get those numbers, I would appreciate that. The amount of calls that you get at the call center.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's.
Because I'm telling residents when I get a call, they're saying I call the call center, and I'm telling them to also call the township so that we can keep track of, the amount of calls that we're getting also.
Okay, sounds good. Well, then we'll look forward to having you back with us in October.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tom.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Well, we did public comment. You wish to make public comment?
It's in relation to what was just said, and also trying to use Leanne Urban as a source of messaging.
Oh, we will.
Well, no, I have a comment about that.
Well, come to the podium and give us your name and address, please.
My name is Kathleen Jones, 5006 Colorado Avenue. I would like to, unfortunately he's left, but I do like the phone calls that we get from Waste Management letting us know, especially on holidays, that the trash pickup has been moved to another day, and they have been good about letting us know about delayed pickup and yard waste. So I want to give him credit for what he is definitely trying to do there, because we don't get exactly the same service from other companies, which would be nice. In regards to notifications from Leanne Urban, I received on Monday the 13th notification of the service that was done at Heroes Grove on Saturday the 11th. And I had signed up for notifications at the suggestion of the board when I said that I don't do things like that normally. And so I was a little very disappointed that I received that after the fact. And I didn't know if that was done intentionally or not.
No, I would say it was probably, I mean, we'll look into it. It had to have been a technical thing, because I'm going to look at my own now and see when I got it, but it definitely wasn't intentionally.
And it wasn't early Monday, it was Monday at 6 something in the evening that I received it.
For the
Via
9/11
email.
ceremony?
I get it via email, so,
For the 9/11 ceremony?
yes, for the 9/11 ceremony.
I remember getting,
Yeah, I got
remember
mine.
getting an email, but it was like,
A couple days
Couple
prior,
days
almost a
before.
week before. I
Yeah,
think.
no,
Yeah.
this was definitely 2 days afterwards, so.
And when did you
might
sign
have
up
got
for
caught up
that?
in the spam
I
filter.
signed up for it after the meeting of where I was given suggestions as to how to go online and where to look to sign up for notifications.
Just for the record, I got mine, and we're just signed up like regular people. They have no idea who we are. September 8th.
Yep,
So
no,
it just so, I mean, it just, it could be a
And it
glitch.
has been very inconsistent. I never know what's going to pop up. I got a, when we had the bad weather the one night, I got cancellation of the Art Council meeting and the Planning Commission meeting, but I had never received notification that they were meeting.
we
It was-
don't send out
that doesn't-
notifications that
Okay,
they're meeting.
well, I wasn't sure about that.
That information is posted on the website.
Yeah.
You go to meetings and
Yeah,
agendas.
yeah.
That was that the building was closed, and if you have a function here tonight, don't come because it's closed. That was a courtesy for
All right.
people. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
these things-
I did get that, but I felt like I was getting like hit or miss kind of thing.
Well, they're not regularly scheduled. It's not like there's something certain days of the week or certain times of the day.
That she's going to send out
Yeah,
a specific
it goes out
notification.
when, like a storm or something happens.
Okay.
We try not to overwhelm people with too
Okay.
much.
In addition, if you sign up for the other different options, Parks and Rec and
Yep,
regular
yep,
news.
Yep.
Got 'em all?
No, I didn't check all of them. I checked what I thought was
Good.
pertinent to me.
I'm glad you did that.
Yeah,
That's
thanks
great.
for taking the initiative.
Well, thank you for the information.
Thank
Could
you,
you
Tom.
give-
I guess
Yeah.
she actually had some nice things to say about you, so you missed it.
Do you want to tell him again? Yeah.
Well, we thought she had more questions, and
Really appreciate letting us know of the delay in pickup, whether it's trash, recycling, yard waste.
so it was worth your coming back in. You got a compliment.
Plus, you can watch it over and over again on YouTube.
Yes.
Mrs. Jones, if you
thanks.
could give Shelley your email address before you leave, that way we can check with Leanne to make sure that you are on the list.
Right now, I don't have a computer.
Oh, okay.
She's on the list because she got it. It's
Well,
just
yeah,
that
but
it
want to
didn't-
just make sure that everything's right, yeah.
My computer has died. It was
Oh, no.
2007, and I finally decided it had enough.
Oh,
Okay.
you got a good use out of it. All right, good. Now let's move on. Chairman and board member comments. The chairman has no comments. Board members?
No comment.
No comment.
I'll comment.
Aha.
We were all up early this morning,
Yeah.
and we did a ribbon cutting of the new light at Fairmont Drive and Locust Lane at 7:30 a.m. And that was a partnership with PennDOT and Yink's Homes. So with the township partnering with private plus the PennDOT, everything works out together.
So one item off the to-do list, Mr. Gottschall. That's
Always a fan of that.
speaking of your to-do list, your manager's report.
I have no particular report this evening.
Oh, great report.
Thank you.
We have no old business, so we'll move right into new business. And Paul, if you want to come up to the podium, we're going to have now our computers are you guys working yet?
I wasn't. I don't. Are you guys working down there or no?
No.
Okay.
Unfortunately, we seem to have an internet issue, but we're going to have presentation now, and then we have to take action on awarding the township and authority property and casualty insurance coverages.
And as we get ready to do that, since we talked about the new traffic light, we want to recognize Central Pennsylvania Asphalt and CM High contractors who got that in there in a very timely fashion, given all the things that they were working with, all the challenges.
Well, yes, all these companies are working through labor issues, and of course, if somebody tests positive for COVID, You know, you have a quarantine, oh, I did give you 2, okay.
But Kathleen, our computers aren't working either.
Oh, he said it's working now.
No, they're not.
Technology is great when it works. Paul, go right ahead.
Okay, does everybody have a copy?
We have hard copies. We're doing it the old-fashioned way.
Oh, okay.
Loman, he
Yes.
said it's working.
All
It's
right, well,
working
good
now?
evening. Paul Pugelli, Brown & Brown Insurance. Thank you for having me here. Actually, I was sitting here and I'm going, it's hard to believe it's been a whole year since I was here. Seems like sooner than that, but. So Brad has the full proposals for the township and the authority. And so what I have here is just a brief summary, kind of a recap of you know, what happened with the insurances this year. I can start by saying it's been actually the last couple of years have been a very difficult time in the insurance industry. There's been rising rates, and some of the same reasons from last year still apply. Property rates have skyrocketed, if for no other reason than just the cost of construction material. So you have the same claims you had last year. It costs 15% more to repair. So you have that, and there has been some increased claims activity on the part of the township, and actually and I can follow up with Brad on this, but one area that seems like there's been an increase in is automobile claims. So I'll meet or get with Brad separately, and we'll talk about maybe applying some risk management to that. There were 14 auto claims this past year. That being said, so the dollar increase for the township, $7,337. It's about a little over 5%. That is the low to mid range what we've been seeing for most of our clients. Most of our clients are probably in the 4 to 8. Those with really bad experience are even more. So you're sort of in the middle of the range, The one policy that is not finalized yet is the cyber insurance, and that policy in particular, if anybody owns a business and you buy cyber insurance, you're probably seeing this as well. That particular branch of insurance has really exploded. The claims have kind of gone off the charts, and so rates are rising, deductibles are rising, et cetera. So what we're looking at is potentially combining the authority and the township, and trying to get some better answers about some of the controls. So they're just mandating more. You got to have multi-factor authentication, and you have to have all these other things. So they're really doing that. So we'll have to do that after this meeting. So you have the historical premiums. If we throw in the cyber, last year was like $10,000 or $11,000. Your high water mark with all these policies actually was 2016, where it was 156,000. So it actually went down for a while, and that was kind of coming back to that. We did go out to the marketplace. We did solicit other quotes. At this point in time, we didn't have anybody who could provide a better quote than the current carrier. And as I said, so I suggest that we have a separate discussion about risk management measures that might help lower some of the claims. All right, so a little bit better news on the authority side. We were a little bit of disbelief because it was only a 0.5% increase, $171, and so we thought it was a mistake, but who are we to question? So that is probably going to be one of the lowest renewal percentage increases that we've seen. Again, it doesn't include the cyber, but I feel like that was a really, really good outcome for that. The claims have calmed down, so that has helped. There was a lot of claims activity on the authority side. That seems like it's calmed down, so that's a plus.
Just good management.
I'm sorry?
Just good management.
Yes, that too.
Were those
works,
claims,
right?
were
Yeah.
those claims on the authority side, were they automobile too, that you said?
No, actually, most of those were sewer backups. And so I had a discussion with Bill, and I think some of that was related to construction projects that were in progress and some that needed to be in progress but hadn't been completed yet. And so you know, with all the municipalities we insure, with all the sewer authorities we have, I see this issue. And frankly, knock on wood, I was quite pleasantly surprised that with that really heavy rainstorm, which maybe didn't come quite out as far as this way, but I really thought we were going to have a lot more sewer backup claims because of the I&I. And so it didn't happen, and we're good with that. So a really good outcome for that. There's really not much, you know, we need to focus on claims-wise for there. Just want to remind that we do have our webinars that we hold twice a month on all kinds of safety topics. I think, Brad, you should be on that. Does that sound familiar? If not, I'll make sure you are.
Kay may get them, I'm not sure.
I think, I'll just make sure everybody's on
that'd be
that
great.
list.
Thank you.
So basically, your outcome, a little better than average on the authority side, about average what we're seeing on, for the township side. And so we just stay the course. We will wrap up the cyber. And at this time, I want to kind of keep my comments brief, so I'll just see if there's any questions the board might have.
Board members, any questions?
Yeah, I had one question. It says that we insure a concession stand at Central Dauphin East High School. So that is on Central Dauphin School District property. What are we doing insuring it? It listed properties that we insure, and it was Central Dauphin East High School concession stand. It was number 18 for $45,945.
Where's that located? Central
Central
Dauphin, which
Dauphin
one's
East,
that?
Rutherford Road.
Rutherford Road. I'd have to take a look. I mean, I'm aware of some situations where the township has entered into partnerships with the school district to use facilities, and they're, you know,
It's at the
as a result,
it's at the baseball field.
as a result, we would, you know, take care of maintenance of facilities and other expenditures such as insurance coverage. But I'll check on that one particularly. I'm not
It
sure.
specifically said concession stand.
Sure.
at
Yeah, like I
Central.
said, we've had partnerships where we've maintained and kind of operated concession stands, but I'm not sure of the Central Dauphin East arrangement. So
Yeah, it listed like the properties, and it's number 18.
Number
Is
18,
what
okay.
it is, yeah. And then you had said in your report that we got about flood insurance.
Yes.
Why do you feel that we need to have flood insurance?
Well, actually, in our, once a year, we go through a coverage review checklist. There's about 95 items. And what we do with that checklist, I probably have a copy of it here, but we go through and we check, oh, you have this, you have that, you have this. At the end of the day, it comes down to maybe 4 or 5 coverages that are optional. And they tend to be earthquake, flood, pollution. Cyber was an optional coverage until more recently everybody started purchasing it. And then there's 1 or 2 other miscellaneous ones. So what we say is, what we are seeing is, I just got a call today. It was actually a sewer authority, and they had some flooding, and year after year we talk about it, and they go, we don't think we really have an issue, we don't think we have a problem. Okay, fine. It's just for the purposes of discussion, because I ask people, I say, okay, in the last year, have any of your properties come close or actually had some flooding? Then you need to consider having that. You know, is it in a floodplain? And so it's really, those are discussion items to see if maybe it may not have made sense in the past, but with changing weather patterns, et cetera, maybe it does make sense now. Because the last thing we want is for you to have a claim that's not going to be covered because you don't have the flood insurance. So, so that's why we go through that coverage checklist, and we do it at least once a year just to have a discussion and say, well, what do you think? And then what we do is, if there's interest, then we get the quote. Then you decide. So it's not like we just put the coverage in place. If you're interested, we get you a flood quote. Then, you know, it goes to Brad, and then Brad brings it to the board, and then you guys could decide whether you want to purchase or not.
Do you know, because we've been with you guys for a long time, do you know, have we ever had flood insurance?
As far to my knowledge, there's never
Okay.
had it. Never had it. But But we are seeing more and more people having flood issues. And so we just ask, you know better than, the township knows better than anyone whether or not there's been any near misses. And so if there have been, then at that point in time, you consider at least getting a quote to see what it would cost.
Okay. And then I had one other question. It said valuation replacement cost coverage, 90% co-insurance.
Yes.
Do we not have 100% reimbursement?
You have, well, it's actually the way it's written is, what you actually have is agreed amount, blanket agreed amount coverage. So what that means is, I could try to, let's see, I could look at your total amount. So, and in fact, one of the things I forgot to mention was that part of the reason for the increase in premium was that the property values were increased by about $1.5 million over last year. And so, and part of that was the Heroes Grove. We added that, which hadn't previously assigned a value. So, if I can quickly put my hands on that. So you have a blanket value of $27 million or $28 million. And so what that means is that any claim you have, and so every building on the schedule has a value to it, $500,000, $2 million, $12 million for the community center. What that $27 million agreed value means is that as long as no one claim exceeds the $27 million, you're going to get full replacement cost value. So in spite of the fact that each building has a value, that is really not the governing factor. The governing factor is the blanket agreed amount limit. That's the governing factor. Now, that being said, the insurance company wants to have a statement of values, and they charge you accordingly. Because what they don't want is, if you know you got a $27 million, and then, I'm not saying you would do this, but they don't want a client saying, well, we're never going to have more than a $15 million claim, so we'll just make the total, make 15, we'll pay less premium, that kind of thing. So the flip side is that they look at the values every year, and they will increase them for some type of inflationary percent. But to answer your question, you have full replacement cost coverage, and as long as you don't have more than $28 million in any one claim, you're fully covered. Even if the cost to replace is more than what that building is listed for on the schedule.
Okay.
And that's per claim. So if we have like a claim in January and a claim in June, they're separate. It's not cumulative.
It's per occurrence.
Per occurrence.
Per occurrence. So you have that blanket limit per occurrence.
So if a building burns down in June, but then in January, and then in June another building burns down,
it doesn't erode.
it
that
doesn't
limit.
erode.
Yes.
Other than the fact that we'd have issue with buildings burning down that frequently. But any other questions, board members?
I was going to ask one more thing.
Okay.
The increased claim activity. So you're saying most of them are car accidents?
Yes, actually, if you bear with me a second. So I actually did a claim summary by year. It's handwritten. In 16, there were 3 claims, and they were all auto. In 17, there were 10 claims, 7 of which were auto. In 18, there were 13 claims, 5 of which were auto. 19 was a pretty good year, 6 claims, 4 of which were auto. And 20, I had 15 claims, 14 of which were auto.
Wow.
Now, bear in mind, I looked at some of these, so you got to dig a little deeper because it looked like some of them were related to the same incident. So I remember there was some kind of police chase and multiple vehicles were hit and involved. And this doesn't tell you who's at fault. It just says you had 14 auto claims,
Okay.
some of which were at fault. My guess is, maybe roughly half are at fault and half are not at fault. So that's where we'll dig a little deeper, but usually when I see those kinds of numbers and they're on the increase, I said maybe it's time for a defensive driving just to remind everybody about good
That
driving.
you're driving somebody else's car.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, thank you.
Okay, anybody else? Okay, I think you've answered everyone's questions. With that, is there a motion? Is there a motion? Anybody?
I'll make the motion, I just have to find out what the
Okay.
amount was.
Have you been able to get that on your?
I just come
ad?
back.
Good, okay,
yeah.
good, thank you.
Brad, do you know where the amount's at? 47? Can you give me the amount?
Maybe it's free. What is the total?
so without the cyber,
Oh, 148,000. I'm sorry, it was on your paper. That's my fault. 148, right there, okay.
Now, this is without cyber, and then
Without
we'll have to
cyber.
take
without cyber
separate,
insurance, we'll have to,
do a separate action then down the road for cyber.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, we'll have to move quickly on that, but.
Yeah.
Part of it was because they were asking for all kinds of information,
Yeah.
and we were working with your IT department to get that.
Okay, well, we don't meet for 2 weeks, so
Oh,
I don't know if that
Yeah.
isn't hopefully enough time.
Yeah, I'm not sure how you want to handle that. It does renew 10/1, and
You can make the motion allowing us to authorize, I mean, because we have to get it.
Do you,
We
do you,
have to
do
get
you
the
have a ballpark idea?
well, this goes back to my comment. We are seeing renewal increases as much as 100%. Now, we asked for some information. I believe we got it from your IT department, and we're waiting for the carrier to get back to us. But it could be like right now it's about 11,000, I believe, and so it might be like 15. That's not unusual for what we're seeing.
Why hasn't the carrier gotten back to you if it's expiring October 1st?
I'm sorry, what?
Why hasn't the carrier gotten
Well,
back to you
they
if it's
were,
expiring?
so this is kind of an unusual time in the industry for that particular type of insurance, where we've actually had the current companies, a lot of them don't want to, they've refused to write the insurance. And so we've had to go to all types of secondary markets, not just for Lower Paxson. I'm talking about our entire municipal book. And then they're coming back and asking questions they never asked before. And they're saying, do you have multi-factor authentication? Do you have all this other stuff, which frankly is, kind of like, you got to be an IT person to even understand what the questions they're asking. So they have provided us, or asked of us a bunch of questions. We relayed those. We did get them back from the IT department. And so we're waiting for the carrier. But unfortunately, at this point, they could not have that answer for this evening.
Okay, Robin, and Steve, tell me if this is permissible. Could you make the motion for the full amount, not including the cyber, and then authorize the township manager to expend up to 20,000 more for cyber, if that, because we have to have it.
Yeah, you can do that.
Appropriate?
Yes.
Okay. Did you get that, Robin?
I got it. And would that be 20,000 per Lower Paxson Township, 20,000 per the authority?
No, the authority's the authority cyber insurance is currently around 5,500. And again, one of the things we're trying to do is seeing if we can combine the two policies. But that takes some discussion and thinking through to make sure that both entities are going to be properly covered for cyber.
So what amount do you want for the authority?
You said it was 5 currently?
5,500.
Okay, so, and then authorize up to 10, because he's saying they're seeing some 100% increases. Hopefully,
Right.
we're not near that, but that being a worst-case scenario, allowing Mr. Godshall to then go ahead and execute that agreement up to that amount.
Okay, here we go. I make a motion that we award Brown & Brown Insurance Company, Lower Paxton Township, property and casualty insurance coverages in the amount of $148,334, not including the cyber. I authorize Mr. Gutschall, our manager, to spend up to $20,000 on Lower Paxson Township for the cyber.
So moved.
Am I okay, Steve? Okay.
Okay.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, now I'll take care of the authority. I make a motion that we award Brown & Brown Insurance Company the property and casualty insurance coverages for the Lower Paxton Township Authority in the amount of $34,638, not including the cyber. I authorize Mr. Gutschall, our manager, to spend up to $10,000 for the cyber insurance.
So moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Paul.
I
Thank
will
you
get
for all your hard work on this. We very much appreciate it.
together.
Thank you, Robin, for putting all that together. So,
Okay, and so Brad, I'll follow up with you probably tomorrow. Okay. All right, thank you very much. Have a good
Thank
evening.
thank you. Okay. Now we need to take action on application for payment number 3 from Penzi Supply for the 2021 Lower Paxson Township Street Paving Project. Mr. Godshall.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, pay application number 3 authorizes payment in the amount of $252,065.15 to the contractor Penzi Supply Incorporated on the township's 2021 street paving project. Once paid for this application, the remaining balance of this contract will be in the amount of $468,103.38. This application has been reviewed and recommended by the township engineer and staff. I'd be happy to help answer any questions.
Board members, any questions? No. We've done payments 1 and 2, so hearing no questions, would someone like to make a motion, please?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve application for payment number 3 from Penzi Supply for the 2021 Township Street Paving Project in the amount of $252,000 and $252,065.15.
So moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Next, action to adopt Resolution 21-25, this accepting the minimum municipal obligation for the police and non-uniformed employees' pension plans. This will go in the 2022 budget. Mr. Godshall.
Yes, sir. Per Pennsylvania statute, prior to September 30th, all municipalities must certify its financial requirements and minimum municipal obligations for each of the pension plans for which they offer. In Lower Paxton's case, that would be 2. This requirement for the board to adopt these pension obligation documents fits nicely, as mentioned, with the ongoing budget preparation process, as the MMO figures, as outlined, must be included in the 2022 general fund budget. As prepared for the board tonight, Resolution 21-25 accepts the statements as presented by the township's actuary, Mockenhop Associates, out of Pittsburgh, allocating $1,696.51 as the police pension, MMO, and $1,003,335 as the non-uniform employees pension plan, MMO. Just as a quick point of information, this represents a $47,000 increase over 2021's budget, or approximately 1.8% increase. And with all that said, I'd be happy to help answer any non-actuarial questions.
It's a lot of numbers.
Yeah.
Any questions, board members, of a non-actuarial nature? Okay. So a motion would be in order.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion that we adopt Resolution 2021-25, accepting the minimum municipal obligation for the police and non-uniformed employees pension plan for the budget for 2022.
So moved. A second.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Next, action on Resolution 21-28, adopting the 2021 Dauphin County Hazard Mitigation Plan, which we heard at our workshop last week. Anything additional, Mr. Gottschall?
No, sir, nothing additional.
Any questions, board members? Is there a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we accept Resolution 21-28, adopting the 2021 Dauphin County hazard mitigation plan. Sorry.
So moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye. This takes us to subdivision and land development. We have, I believe, 3 improvement guarantees. Any questions, board members, relative to these? Is there a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion that we approve the improvement guarantees, Autumn Oaks, Amber Fields, and Life Storage Facility.
So moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Any further announce? We don't have payment of bills?
Yep.
Somehow that got cut off of this particular. Mr. Treasurer, I guess we need to do payment of bills for Lower Paxson Township and the
Yeah,
authority.
mine's cut off as well.
Yeah.
But, Mr. Chairman, I move that we make the necessary payments for Lower Paxson Township and the Lower Paxson Township Authority.
So moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Now we will have any additional announcements by board members.
There will be no Lower Paxton Township Authority meeting next week.
I did want to announce that we did meet prior to this meeting for our ongoing budget meetings, where we heard from the Public Safety Director on the budget for the Police Department and the Fire Fund as well. We went over both of those budgets. We will be meeting again 2 weeks from tonight. We will have a budget meeting at 5:30. Our budget meetings are open to the public, if any member of the public would like to attend. So the budget meeting will be on Tuesday, October 5th, 2021 at 5:30 p.m. in the Supervisors Meeting Room adjacent to this room. The next meeting of this Board of Supervisors will be a business meeting on Tuesday, October 5th at 7 p.m. here in this room. All business having been completed, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
So moved. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.